Watson is one of the 6 districts of Night City as of 2077, and is divided into 4 subdistricts: Little China, Kabuki, the Northern Industrial District, also known as the NID, and Arasaka Waterfront. In Cyberpunk 2077, it is the district where the player starts the game, after finishing the prologue. During the time of the rebuilding that occurred in the 2040s, some wealthy Japanese corporations had big plans for Watson, and poured millions of dollars into it. Watson had it all: huge buildings, vibrant nightclubs, a medical center, and even its own industrial section called the NID in the district's northern part. After the Unification War, Saburo Arasaka and his corporation returned to Night City. Arasaka had their own plans, and in order to carry them out, Arasaka's competing firms would have to perish. It drained the corporations dry and profoundly altered Watson's life. Nobody knows if it was due to an ancient feud from back in Japan, or if it was simply business, but Saburo's lawyers and bankers eliminated all of his competitors in the district. Watson's glory days were over without a robust financial sector. The NID, formerly a cutting-edge technical park, could no longer generate work, leaving thousands on the streets. Now, Watson is one of the lower-end parts of Night City, the living area for low-income factory employees who still work in the NID's few operational factories. Arasaka profited from the economic vacuum by taking over the district and finally getting the port access in the waterfront that it had always wanted. Little China was once an extension of downtown, and there were plans to make it a second city center during the rebuilding. Corps constructed skyscrapers and world-class medical clinics known as the Med Center. If you wanted to spend money on body augmentations legally, it used to be the best place in Night City to do so. The sub-district got its name after an influx of Asian immigrants, primarily from China, in the late 2040s. Little China got overcrowded in the ensuing decades, and its exclusive tone shifted to the current ethnic vibe. Today, central Little China resembles the poorer areas elsewhere in Night City, but the food, shops, neon lights, lingo, and flavor are all distinctly Chinese. The tastes are now mixed together, with dwelling blocks next to rich condo structures and illegal gambling establishments next to legitimate corporate offices. Low and mid-tier corpos go here for cheap fares at casinos and strip clubs, as well as to mingle with the impoverished and homeless on the streets. Although not officially claimed by any gang, you will come across tiger claws. Kabuki was once the pride of the Japanese medical corporations in this part of Night City. It was situated next to the well-known Med Center, and as a result, the whole area flourished and prospered. Kabuki is now the city's poorest sub-district, except Pacifica, of course, with all the other corpos either disbanded by Arasaka or transferred to the other side of the Gulf. But Night City hates a vacuum. The neighborhood was quickly repopulated with Chinese immigrants before becoming the shadiest market imaginable. Kabuki's small, convoluted lanes are teeming with chop suey places, shady cosmetic boutiques, and cheap junk shops, all adorned with Chinese lampions and flashing neon lights. After dark, Kabuki is the epicenter of Night City's black market for all sorts of unlawful trades. Implants, organs, combat pharmaceuticals, prototype cyber augmentations, steroids, synth viruses, snuff brain dance records, you name it. You can have it if you know where to look and who to talk to. According to Ripper Docs, there are multiple black clinics operating in underground basements or back rooms that install illicit military and prototype cyberware from Chiba City Labs or top-tier Scandinavian bioclinics. Scavengers supply some of the business in the hood. Those scary gangers are the lowest of the low, with a penchant for dragging unsuspecting tourists to some cellar before removing their implants and organs to resell to unscrupulous Kabuki Ripper Docs. Except for the northern edge, where warehouses and abandoned industries are occupied by various gangs, transients, and junkies, the area is thickly populated. The Tiger Claws and several Maelstrom members from the NID remain in the area, but none claim Kabuki as their own. The vacuum has given one of the local gangs, the Mocs, a foothold. They have authority over Lizzie's Bar, one of Kabuki's most popular braindance clubs and brothels. The NID used to be Watson's wealthy factory subdistrict. Today, its factories are essentially non-functional and abandoned, partly due to earthquake damage and partly due to unsuccessful investments. Wealthy corpos living in downtown built some gleaming new apartment buildings on the outside of the district to separate it from their portion of the city. Those structures are now home to mid-level staff who oversee the NID's few active factories. People originally migrated here in search of opportunities and a new life. They landed their big break with factory work, and now they're caught in limbo, waking up, going to a dead-end job for who knows how many hours, and coming home to sleep. There are no opportunities for advancement, but those are ordinary people. Some other residents of the NID are much, much worse, as this area is also the home turf of Maelstrom, known by the moniker Cyborgs, and one of NC's major gangs. They use its abandoned buildings as hideouts, illegal braindance studios, and warehouses for the loot they steal from the corporate transports. Spend enough time in the NID and you are bound to run into them. Or you can just go ahead and head on over to Totentanz. The Waterfront subdistrict is a fortified island of corporate power in Watson's chaotic sea. There's nothing for you there if you're not from Arasaka. The Arasaka Waterfront is a critical component of the corporation's local supply chain. According to official data, hundreds of cargo pass through the waterfront each month, packed and processed by automatic robots before being delivered to other corporate-owned warehouses and outposts. You can't see much of it though. The first act of the Japanese Zaibatsu was to build a wall around the waterfront to keep Watson inhabitants at bay, the gangers, scavengers, and everybody else who was not Arasaka. Fortified with motion detectors, electrified razor wire, and autonomic armored gun turrets, the wall protects Arasaka assets from unwanted guests and trespassers. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning more about Night City and the world of Cyberpunk. If you want to learn more about Cyberpunk, go ahead and click on the next video we have selected for you. See you soon, chooms!